Fandom Arcade. Ready? Start.
This time on Fandom Arcade.
This time on Fandom Arcade, Dan is eating a carrot. He's a wascally wabbit. Did I call you out on it? Dan is just silently staring at me, definitely not eating anything. I'm fine, and so is Dan. This time on Fandom Arcade.
So for no reason whatsoever, let's talk about the VHS board game for Gargoyles. What the hell is that?
Okay, so
hold on, just make sure I have this right.
Yeah, so in between episodes, one of our fantastic buddies on our Twitch chat brought up the Gargoyles, the movie, VHS board game. Now, Dan asked me as I walked up from my bathroom break, he says, Evan, do you know anything about the Gargoyles VHS board game? And I wanted to jump right into this episode to talk at length about it because it's so great.
I have no idea what it is.
Okay, so in the early days of the 90s, there existed a bit of a trope, and it was that you could have an interesting dynamic board game play session using a VHS cassette. So essentially,
okay.
and you know, I had a couple of VHS board games. One
I've never even heard of a VHS board
So conceptually, just to give you an idea, another one I had was a Star Wars VHS board game. And essentially you would just put the board game on, or you'd put the VHS on, and then start the board game, and then occasionally, over the course of just the VHS running, and it would just provide kind of background music, you know, sound effects, things like that, just kind of give you an immersive experience. So while that was happening, occasionally, just random instructions would appear, like, oh no, suddenly Imperials are attacking, like, everyone on these tiles loses points, or whatever. So, you know, kind of added just an element of, like, randomness to it.
Okay.
But here's the thing. The movie Gargoyles, for whatever reason, like, perhaps they didn't think that the movie was good enough to really
to stand on its own.
To stand on its own, which I disagree with. I love
that movie. I was
incredible.
telling the Twitchitarians that I've never seen the show. I've only seen the movie.
So I'm actually surprised then that you weren't aware of this. And maybe it was only some copies of the movie. But so, wow, I'm on a horse. I'm on a horse! Hooray!
I'm on a horse.
I'm on a horse.
Yeah.
So, wow, it is hard to talk and do this at the same time, but I'm gonna do it.
You got to tell me because I am waiting on bated breath as to what the hell you're talking about.
I know you are. So the copy of Gargoyles that I had was one that actually had the VHS board game at the end of the movie. So the movie would essentially end, and like after the VHS movie was over, you could then also play this board game. And the VHS like had like a fold out like board game inside of like the little cardboard VHS sleeve.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was it. But no, I played that game like so much. It was like one of my favorite board games when I was a kid. And I remember at one point the game piece for Goliath, the main character, who I always liked to play as, it got lost.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to it. So to solve the situation, this is like my early days of being a craftsman. It's true. My early days of being a craftsman, I actually found a spot on the VHS like cardboard sleeve, where his head appeared like very, very small, and I cut it out the same diameter as the rest of the game pieces.
Oh, cool!
So I was able to recreate it. There was just like a weird hole in the middle of the VHS cardboard sleeve.
That's actually kind of neat.
Yeah. So I have very fond memories of the Gargoyles VHS game.
Oh man, you know,
I'm surprised. So you didn't know about VHS board games. We will have to play one at some point.
Okay.
I know how much you love board games.
Yeah, I already don't like board games, and now you want me to play VHS board games.
Oh, absolutely. So
I'm also
Dan, not a huge boards game fan. And I think that's the thing is, I think you have very understandable reasons for not being a super fan of board games.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I know.
I love a good Risk session.
Which surprises me because Risk is the worst board game.
Oh, no, Risk is one of the best.
It is the least fun a board game could possibly be.
Well, see, that's the thing, is that what most people consider to be fun in board gaming holds no interest to me. And I'm not saying everything. This is not like a constant metric.
Yeah.
It's just not really... board games inherently are not really my thing.
Tell me, Dan, why do you have a wrong opinion about things? Please, describe it to me in 7 paragraphs. That's
7
the metric,
paragraphs.
That's the metric you have available to you to describe why you think your opinion is right, even though it is so clearly incorrect.
Damn, dude, kind of came at me with both barrels. All I said was I don't like board games.
Which is incorrect. As a person, all humans like board games, specifically Settlers of Catan.
I think for me,
as everyone knows, is the angelic god king of all board games.
I think for me personally is that my experiences with board games. First of all, if I'm going to socialize with people, I don't really like an additional task provided.
And that is an entirely understandable reason for not wanting to play board games.
But then also at the same time,
I mean, I was joshing you. I know full well why you don't.
But also, I have to say, a lot of it is that, like, when I've been invited to board game nights, like, hey, come over for board game night, it usually is kind of forcing a situation, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's something when I go to a gathering or anything, I like a fluid situation.
Yeah.
But, like, when I go and people are, it's almost like people demanding, and especially, too, board games, for me, not every board game, I'm just saying I've had this experience more than once, but have you ever had someone recommend a movie to you and say, oh, no, you're going to love this movie, you got to watch it, you're going to love it, you're going to wonder how you lived without it. And you watch and you're like, no, you wasted my time. I cared not for this film.
Yeah.
That's honestly...
a lot of times it's the expectation of how you're going to like it. Like, that can ruin the experience. Well, I try to be very careful when I make those claims to people. And I don't... And please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I've ever been adamant about a movie suggestion for you that you have not enjoyed. Please, by all means.
No. I think you've been pretty spot on.
Good. That comes from knowing you for 30 years.
But also the thing is that, I found that, my tastes are so varied in films that I no longer say, like, oh, you have to see this movie, it's the best thing ever. I say, it's like, I think you should watch this movie.
And I think that's actually a more appropriate...
I don't know what your take will be.
Yeah.
I can't predict you.
I am not a soothsayer. I do not have the magical
I
gift
rolled some of them turtle bones, but I don't know what you're going to...
I just rolled some of them there turtle bones.
Wrote some turtle bones, and I'm not sure what you're going to think of this movie. But yeah, so that's the point, is that when I've gone to board game nights, they're like, oh, you got to play this board game, you're going to love it. And and I feel like it's been a lot of people who say, oh, especially you, Dan, you're going to love this one. And
it's also quite worrisome when those opinions go south.
Yeah, you're like, what do you think of me?
It's like, yeah, what about this movie made you think, yeah, Evan, or yeah, Dan? Because that holds a very real risk of being extremely insulting.
Insulting or concerning.
Insulting or concerning, yes. Be like, what have I done wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to get to where the smoke's at. I was going the opposite direction. But yeah. Oh, over on our Twitch feed, we've got a buddy here who says that they liked what we did with the title card on our first Mario Kart YouTube video.
Oh,
so yeah,
cool.
we just
crushed it on that, dude.
Thank you. I'm quite proud. I am learning Photoshop. I'm learning it. It is a learning process. Can I clarify even further that I am learning? But yeah, I was able to put little Mitomo Dan and my heads on Mario and Princess Peach, respectively. So I'm the prettiest hoverbike princess you ever done see. So yeah, quite proud. Quite proud of my works.
Quite proud of my works.
My various assorted artistic works. But yeah. So if you haven't checked out our YouTube videos for the Mario Kart, please do, because I think it's good. It's also as of doing this, it's also probably some of the heaviest visual editing that I've done.
You kind of went to town on that one.
Yeah, not in the first one, but the second one all the way through, I added what I felt would be a nice addition. Our little our faces. Mm-hmm. Added our faces to be able to differentiate who is playing on which side of the screen.
Yeah.
Because I think that's important for a racy type game. Ooh, I'm gonna spin this guy. Boom.
Oh, go spin.
Yep. Was that the final target? I think it was. Anyway, yes. But then I also did some fun visual jokes that I like to do. I'm enjoying video editing. I don't know if I've mentioned that on this particular platform on Fandom Arcade, but I really enjoy video editing.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy it, because it is fun. You know, editing is the final director.
It is. It is. I mean, but also, you know, if any of you out there know video editors, hug them, because they have one of the hardest jobs in all of production. Just hands down, hardest.
Well, and also, too, I think a point that kind of comes up with this is that, and this is a point, I feel like as a director, I really prefer not to edit. Like, I don't mind editing, but I'd prefer, like, I don't mind doing an assembly cut or anything like that. But honestly, I prefer the editing go to, in this case, you or another editor, because you know what it's like. If you are too close to a project, you miss things.
Yeah.
And you will do things that you think are a good idea, and they wind up not being, and stuff like that. So if I can direct something, and like I said, I don't mind doing an assembly cut, so if I can direct something, and then if I have to cut an assembly, that's fine, but then hand it off to you, you know, I give you my notes. I check in with you all the time. You know what it is that I'm looking for, and your different eye will, no matter what, create a version of that is one that I would never have seen. Yes. And I think that that's important. I think it's extremely important.
Yeah, editing is definitely a laborious process, but it is one that I have found extremely rewarding.
It's really good.
I don't know what I need to do to this guy. Like, he's got beefy arms.
Dude,
have you seen the beefy arms on this gentleman?
He looks like Justin Bieber.
Why am I in fat? Uh-oh.
The Beeb wants you to go and love yourself.
Yeah. Just wants me to go and love myself.
But you know, you can go and love yourself. Next time on Fandom Arcade.
Next time on Fandom Arcade.
Next time on Fandom Arcade.
All right, bye.
Bye.